We're live, Mr. Wade.
Good night, good night, good night, good night to the Belizean people, both at home and abroad. You know, this is our 160th edition of Belizean Affairs. Welcome to those who watch us via the Facebook, via the YouTube, and uh, the other messenger and WhatsApp. So, and it's always a pleasure to sit with my co host, Mr. Leonard Brackett, who is the Friday night chairman. And joining us shortly will be Mr. Gregory Brackett, who is the Monday night chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say to our medium, thank you for the support that you give us. As always, oh yeah, tonight we have a very interesting program lineup. There's a lot going on in our jewel, a lot, and some serious situation too. But as always, we start our program with a prayer and then a reading. And tonight, I will ask Mr. Leonard Brackett to lead us in prayer and then a reading. Leonard, can you please lead
Yes,
us?
sir. I'll just bow my head for
Thank you,
a
sir.
few seconds, sir. Divine loving Father, thou who art the creator of heaven and earth, and all that in them are, into thine hands we commend ourselves, asking thee that thou would accept our expression of gratitude and thankfulness for having given us life and the opportunity to still be alive among our family members, friends, and loved ones. Please bless them all as if they were called by name and number. Please bless our country of Belize, its people, and its leadership. Please bless this country of the United States, its people, and its leadership as well. We pray that thou mayest bless the rest of humanity, especially those people in Gaza and elsewhere, in Afghanistan, in Ukraine, and in Sudan, and other places where there are man-made disasters occurring, as well as circumstances where we have natural disasters, flooding, rain, tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, and all manner of evil. Please continue to be merciful unto us, we pray. We also ask that Thomas bless this program. Help us that we may have a good program tonight, and that whatever we say or do may it accrue to the well-being and benefit of our people and country, and be pleasing in thy sight. For we ask these mercies in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for that prayer there, Leonard.
You're
Uh,
welcome, Mr. Chairman.
Very inspiring. And can you please give us a word, Leonard, please?
Yes, sir. Uh, I'll read today from Proverbs chapter 25, and I'll start at verse 1, which reads as follows. These are also proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, copied out. It is the glory of God to conceal things, but the honor of kings is to search out a matter. The heaven for height, and the earth for depth, and the heart of kings is unsearchable. Take away the dross from the silver, and there shall come forth a vessel for the finer. Take away the wicked from before the king, and his throne shall be established in righteousness. Put not forth thyself in the presence of the king, and stand not in the place of great men. That will be the ending of the reading for right now. And thank you all for the privilege. And thank you, Mr. Chairman, for having granted me the opportunity to participate in the program tonight as you share. And I hope we, as I pray earlier in my prayer, that we will end up with a program that is beneficial and healthy and serving, deserving of our people, those who listen to us when the program is on live, as well as those who listen to the program thereafter at their own time and convenience. Which is, we have been seeing the numbers keep increasing at every show. So we're grateful for the support, and as you had mentioned earlier, and we just want to say thanks for it. I yield back to Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Leonard, for leading us graciously.
Welcome,
You
sir.
know, it's a pleasure to sit in your company always, and in the company of Greg. Um, we speak we speak truth to the nation. We are about people and country. Uh, we call out the things that we see that is not right, and we offer solution. We always offer solution. And you know, sometimes they would wonder, Leonard, if we the fortune teller, right? Because a lot of the things that we talk about manifest itself.
Mm-hmm.
All 98% of the time. Because why? We see it, right? We see it happening, and we follow the mindset of these people,
Mm-hmm.
right? Past and present. I want to welcome Mr. Gregory Brackett with us tonight. He was doing the technical part there in the back there to queue up, and we show and tell always. I thank the good Lord that we are able to speak on things that these people had done and had said, and then Gregory find these things, and we show and tell because it comes from their very own mouth. And we always say that they tell on themselves all the time, all the time. If you listen to these people, when they speak, they have some kind of agenda, and we see through it, right? And we see where they want to go, right? And we show it, right? We show it, we show and tell. So I want to welcome Mr. Gregory Brackett here with us tonight.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Mr. Chairman, and good night to the Belizean people at home and abroad. I thank you for tuning in to this 160th episode of Belizean Affairs. With that said, I turn it back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Gregory. My people, on our last show, we were highlighting some of the events that has been going on, and we also highlight a visit by this administration, and also was visited by Shine Barrow, the leader of the opposition, and they had town hall meetings around and around, and we talk about it. And tonight we're gonna speak about it in depth, more depth tonight, and about you know the things that they are saying and that is not germane, right? And we will talk about we have always talked about the last SOE was not going to be the last one. We always say it, right? And it was just a matter of time, and bam, there we go again. We'll talk about that. We talk about the crime and violence in this country is at an all-time high. But my people, again, we see the movements of the political party, this PUP government. We see what they are doing in country and what they are going abroad, what they are doing abroad. the message they're taking abroad, the things that they're saying, and we talk about the things that they do here to gerrymander their candidates, set them in line like little pigs or like little ducks. You know, the duck usually follow the upright duck, and see all the other one they walk in line with the leader, the duck leader, right? The drake. You call them the drake, right? And then the little ones they follow item by item. Now you watch the past how the UDP, they gerrymander who they want in the company. They gerrymander who they want to contest their election, their conventions, not only their conventions, the political conventions. It's not the people's convention, you know, because it's all about politics. And you watch this PUP who have mastermind on aligning like this leader here. He is putting his ducks in rows that will support him in case of they want to overthrow him, or in the case of there's another party leader convention. So he got his minions and his ducks who are suck up behind him. So the ones them who he think that he cannot gerrymander, he don't want them to contest this PUP election. He tell them plain, man, you know, we will just endorse these other guys, right? Because these guys who we endorse, they're not my guy. They will support me, right? So it's all about politics. This is not about the people and the people will. And you see how they, you know, bring in these foreign-born candidates to control us, right? To call the shots on us, right? People that should not name, that should not be on the ballot, on the contesting sheet, none at all, right? But they are on, right? So we see the situation with what they continue to do with the diaspora, right? Whenever they are in trouble and they want something from the diaspora, they go there. You see it done with the ICJ, right? The length that Dean Barrow went, right? You see his outcome, the agenda. He wanted an yes, he got an yes, right? What they did, you know, to achieve that, they disenfranchised a lot of us. Well, you know what, Belizean right here, ban Belizean, disenfranchised because then they never fall in line with one yes, right? So you see there now they visit the, and now not forget, you know what they did when they bring out this this Constitution Reform Committee. They had them over there too, you know, right? They have people maybe go over the diaspora. They try to rope in who they want, who then could have rope in and get where they could have get, and you know, to facilitate that, right? The town meetings they're having right now, right? You see the promises at these town meetings, this town hall meeting, right? The prostituting our natural resources in these town hall meetings, right? And why the issue of ban Belizean, right, to contest in Parliament does not come up, right? You listen to the man Musa, he not mention that, none at all. But that should be the main focus, because a lot of us ban Belizean want to contest. They don't just want the right to vote. They want to contest in Parliament, right? In the affairs of a country, right? And why do we have banned Guatemalan contesting our election, right, in government, right? Why? And all facilitated by the UDP and the PUP, right? Born to a country that does not respect the independence and sovereignty of this country. See, why are they afraid, right? To tell us, you know, ban Belizean at home, I mean, in the diaspora, come and contest the election, man. Why they afraid for? We see the crime and violence in this country is at an all-time high, right? As for me, I put the blame solely on the past and present government, right? if you see the laws they pass over the years, right? And the SOEs that they pass over the months and years, is it helping? Has it helped? Right? We see the weed law that they pass, and the draconian laws that they pass, how to facilitate who? We see and live the state of emergencies. Does it help? All they do is to make life better for the criminals and the gangs, and they await the next SOE. Yeah, the gang members, they are just await the SOE, because the next one, because if you listen to the Prime Minister, the last address on the last state of emergency, he said, all then they do, and the best they could come up with is send the Lee Black boy from south side the jail for go rest only 30 days, right? And cool them off for only 30 days, right? That's what he said, and that's the best. And he said it, he said after they sit down and carefully analyze this whole thing, that was the best that they could have come up with. It's not working, right? It's not working. Those of us with knowledge knows it, that it's not working. And we know that better could be done. Better could be done if they all put their heads together and do the right thing. Now we are seeing an attack on police, killing, and they attack the policeman, and and them get shot there in Roaring Creek, and yet they say it's not gang related, right? Not too long ago, like 3 weeks ago, and the police station in Roaring Creek, brazen lone gunman gone and he shoot up the police station. Lucky nobody got shot, no? Lucky. Right? Shot fired on the Compol residence in Belmopan today. I wonder who will be next. And then I ask the question, why are these people so brazenly doing these things? So what kind of country are we living in? So I hope that the government has a better plan this time. And for sure, you all need to stop saying that all the criminals and all the gang players and all the players, right? And all the people who are involved in drugs and the cartels in this country. You need to stop saying that, right? Because there's a lady, and I want to know from a very long time, I will just find out, right? Well-known lady what so high-ranking people deal with. Just know. And then came right for being a member of a gang. And she was remanded to the Hattieville prison, right? Now, I would like the world to see what's going on in this country, because you hear from the present government that all is well in this country, right? Which we know for a fact that it's not. As for me, the tireless SOEs that they pass and, bring the Belizean public to their knees and inconvenience them. As for me, I call them out. I say, why don't you settle this matter once and for all? Right? Bring back the death penalty. Send a message. That's what I would do if I had the power, instead of subjecting the Belizean people to this kind of nonsense unnecessarily all the time, right? Send a clear message that this kind of actions from known gang members and known criminal repetitious actions, criminality, the murdering, mayhem, on go pan, on go into the justice system, go to court, or they on get jail for one, and come right back and do the same damn thing. And next 2 weeks, then go and then pass an SOE and then pat on up on the back. And we want to work with the gang. Prime Minister, the last Prime Minister, he was well cahoot with the gang. Even they paid him with our taxpayers' dollars. And I think it's still going on now, which is a damn shame. How do you want to curb crime like that when you're facilitating, aiding, and abetting, right? Send a clear message to these people who kill innocent people, right? Who take innocent lives, 2 and 3 lives, and they're still in society. Send a clear message, man. And once you block 2 of their neck, the rest will humble themselves. Okay? On that note, because it really pisses me off to see the repetitious cycle and again subject innocent people to things beyond their control, right? So, on that note, I just rant that off because this is what immediately happening in this country, right? And yet you hear again, we'll hike the price of sugar soon go, right? Because Santander say, well, Santander and BSI says that, the only way they will stop the exploitation and the stealing of the sugar to across the borders, that if the government raise the sugar and the price of sugar on the poor people, that's the only way. And then you hear the my guy ranting off with a whole bunch of crap that doesn't make sense, right? So there's no reason for that. No reason for a raise in the price of sugar. We have 2 damn sugar factory in this country producing. Why do we have to? Because Santander and BSI says we should. Anyway, that's another matter. But the matter at hand where we really want to discuss is the diaspora voting rights and the crime and violence and the last SOE that they passed in this country lately, last week. The mayhem in this country. You want to go first, Greg, or you want to pull up something, or you want Leonard to go first? It doesn't matter, right? Which one?
I pass it over to my cousin.
Okay, Leonard, you want to weigh in on our topic for tonight, my brother? You don't know where to start. No, your mic is off. Your mic is off, my brother. Yeah. Yes.
Yes, I had taken it off because I was doing something in the background.
Yes,
It was
sir.
loud, and I didn't want to disturb while you were
Yes.
speaking. No?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to weigh in on some of the things that you had mentioned earlier. I know we are seriously interested in dealing with this issue of the Belize diaspora being conned against once more into cooperating as we have done so many times in the past, decades and decades and decades on top of decades, from way back in the late 70s and early 80s. And as far as the Belizean people are concerned, especially the younger generations who have no idea that this is a repetitious cycle, as you had mentioned earlier, that we're going through. Those of our age, most of whom have passed on before, can recall that we have been down this road many, many, many times. Just as one of the young man, Mr. Akbar, Nuri Akbar, who spoke at the presentation indicated. His only reason for being there is that he still has some hope that something could come out of all the previous effort that was expended, and we are just now going about repeating the same cycle, and he's hoping that maybe this time might be for real. But when you're dealing with jackals, hyenas, vultures, vampires, vipers, these entities are living entities, just like how human beings are living. But when they show you their teeth, they have a different agenda for you as a human being than what we as human beings, when we dare to laugh or to smile and to show with teeth. Most of the time when we as human beings show with teeth and with a laugh and smile with somebody else, it's not that we don't sometimes maybe have ill will towards them, because as human beings, we're known to be like that sometimes. But most of the time when we smile with somebody and we hug them up and so on, it's because we're happy, we are joyous. We have good faith and good intention and goodwill towards the person that we're smiling with and laughing with and with showing them with teeth. But when you have leopards, jackals, hyenas, lions, and like I said again before, vampires and vipers, snakes, showing you their teeth, it's time to take caution. It is time to take caution because it may not necessarily be about your well-being. But having prefaced what I was about to say with all of what I said already, I don't fault the Belizean American community to hope that somewhere, somehow, somebody that's controlling our governance power, whether it's be under the present PUP, because it didn't happen under the previous UDP, or under maybe some other future government, maybe another UDP or someone else, whatever, whenever we get lucky, that somebody will just go about and do what they are commanded to do in the Constitution. That is to not violate the Constitution and the rights of the Belizean people. That's not too hard for them to do. That's part of what they sign up for, and that's part of what they ask to be given the jobs to do. The present government, when they were in opposition, asked the public to give them the chance to come into governance and that they was going to do certain things. Instead of doing what they promised they were going to do once we gave them the power, they dismissed public concerns. And they went ahead and decided, okay, they have the power now, they're going to change the Constitution. They never tell you that that's what they want to do. They never ask we permission to do that. But then go away to the house, go and make bogus laws under the stipulation of the idea, bamboozling the people into letting the people believe that because they made those laws and they have a PCC in motion, that they, the government of the country, could not operate as a legitimate government anymore, and that they can't do anything until the PCC finishes work. Well, sit them but at home, then and start go to the house, they go borrow money over and over and over. If they don't want to do nothing else other than just borrow money. And the senators then are no better than the other race of politicians then. When in fact, they should be a checkmate to some of the dastard behavior of the politicians then. But as you mentioned earlier, Mr. Wade, the last SOE that they had, we predicted that it wasn't going to be the last. And here we are today under another new SOE. Bogus SOE at that again, right? Because where they put the SOE is not where the major crimes are being committed right now. I know the Commissioner of Police is not living on any of the areas than where the SOE is. Huh? Or am I wrong?
Belmopan?
Did they have an SOE for that?
They didn't say Belmopan, Cotton Tree, and Roaring Creek. That's what they mentioned.
I know for a certainty that the Prime Minister did not put an SOE in Orange Rock or in Coruscant. And I'm almost sure, probably 99.9%, that he would never contemplate any such idea, regardless of how much gangs operate in that northern area and or how much of the international criminal elements run around in those two districts. He will never do that because he will not expose people in his area with having to live under the conditions that an SOE requires. Nevertheless, we have the Minister of Police stipulating that they need to be doing these SOEs in order to tamp down the criminal behavior in the country. when in fact it's getting worse. As you pointed out earlier, Mr. Wade, Mr. Chairman, the man then they go shoot down police, then
Yeah.
they go shoot up police station,
Yes. Yes.
then they go shoot up the commissioner's house. Are we supposed to presume that it's getting better? Oh yeah, it's getting better. Because according to the law amendment that we have, the more crime the better, the more need we have for them. They're not supposed to do what we have been asking them for months now. Use the existing laws in the book, grab these people, put them on the remand and prosecute them. Put them through the process. If they are vindicated or they are let off, all right. In the meantime, like what the Prime Minister said, they go sit down up there and cool off, then heal. They know who they are, but instead they go and cast wide net SOEs that impacts other people that have nothing to do with the criminal elements and their behavior. So they're not doing proper policing, so the criminals are laughing at them. I said once before, not maybe once, probably quite a few times before, as a matter of fact, but I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again right now. If we, the Belizean people, think we have seen mayhem in our country, wait till the Salvadorian MS-13 gangs and others get their foot planted properly in our country of Belize as a docile society compared to their own country in El Salvador, where they were slaughtering people by the hundreds, and they were being slaughtered by the hundreds. In other words, wait till Belize become a young Haiti. And let's see who will run to full rescue. Okay? Because the way free government is operating is that they don't care about the rest of the people, so long as they can do their hustling on the side and help themselves and their cronies to whatever becomes available. They are not about good governance. I don't think they are about governance, much less good governance, which is what the problem is. But if we had people governing our country with good faith and good intention towards the general society, the general population and the rest of the society as a whole would be more than willing to let these guys do what they have to do when push comes to shove. But they turn around and use our powers that we vest in them against us, the general population of the country. And they know they expect that when they are coming under some of the same heat where the population they live under, that we should have tears to drop for them. To hell with it. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Leonard. Gregory, hello, my brother.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I look on the situation happening in Belize totally different. Because to me, I believe that past and present government is failing, filter after filter, at not being able to deal with external and internal policy, and it shows that government is not playing its role at one, protecting its territory. That is why it is leading us to the ICJ. Two, bring about peace and harmony in the community, and past and present government is unable to show where they have gotten with private sector to create long-term jobs. We are in a time of graduation, and every year we have graduates coming out of school who will be jobless. And where will these teenage kids end up? In the street. So there can never be a quick fix to what is happening. But as I said before, these are people that always tell on themselves. They get it together and huddle and they talk these things over because they have no idea that what they say and it is video, they are telling on themselves that they don't have the answer to the issue or problem that is taking place. Mr. Chairman, allow me the privilege to go to my first speech.
Thank you. Go ahead. Thank you.
States of emergencies have always been critiqued as being a failure of policing strategies and being a band-aid solution. You lock up these criminals for 1 to 3 months. I assume this one is about 3 months. And then you let them out. They settle down for a little while, but then it just starts up again.
That's a critique from your news director, right? Come on, we have to be real, right? That's the narrative of Channel 7. And again, we respect your opinion, but at the end of the day, as a law enforcement organization, and the primary one at that in Belize, we have a responsibility to the people. And if it is that we have to implement measures that is going to work for a period of time until we can look at longer lasting measures, then it is going to happen. I believe that the SOE will work for the purpose for which it is being implemented. And again, it has a lot to do with making sure that we go after the right people. And that's the reason why we have our intelligence unit. Put together a list of persons who we have credible information against are involved in the ongoing feuds across the city. I am sure that you will be quite comfortable. Once the peace comes, when all these people are in prison, you'll be able to walk the streets how you want without having to be worried to be caught by a straightaway bullet. That is what we want. Citizen security is important for everybody, including you and your news director.
But what do you think will happen in 3 months? These men in prison, they get agitated, they lose their jobs, they can't make money, they're not seeing their families. What do you think happens after the 3 months?
I'm not a fortune teller. I can't say what happened in 3 months' time. But at the end of the day, I can tell you what will happen between now and the 3 months period is that we will do what needs to be done to keep the criminals at bay. They need to get the sense that we have had enough. And if the 3 months come and they come out and they come and do foolishness, then they're going back again. It's as simple as that.
Paul, you're saying you're going to an international conference. Do you get any feedback on these SOEs the same way I imagine people would comment in relation to what El Salvador is doing?
Hey, you think that Bukele is the most influential world leader for no reason? You think so? Come on, Marisol. SOEs is...
Mr. Chairman, I stopped the tape as soon as he mentioned the President of El Salvador for one reason. Allow me with your privilege, because it seems to me that we are dealing with a government who is unwilling to say they are failing, but yet wants to classify all young men the same way gangs are being classified in El Salvador. And just to prove the point of why I'm saying they always tell on themselves, let's hear the same name from our Prime Minister.
Well, we have always been very concerned about crime. And in my meeting with President Bukele, there's one thing that stood out when he said to me, he says, sin paz no hay desarrollo. Without peace, we can't have development. We can have the most thriving economy going, but if we can't control crime in this country, they're going to leave. Nobody's going to come to Belize. Tourists will not come, investments will not come. People in Belize are going to shut down their investments. I say that, not that we're not there, nowhere close to that, but to make the point that we're taking it very serious. Yesterday, we have decided that we're going.
Is that a stipulation of failure as to say we will handle these situations the same way Mr. Buckley is handling in El Salvador? I'm asking the question because I want to be the first to say this. We are in a state of emergency, and as of yet, There is no statutory instrument to back that state of emergency, which
Repeated
is
over and over and
unconstitutional.
over.
There is absolutely none. I have went to the government website and I have searched to see if there's an updated statutory instrument for the 25th of June when the state of emergency was announced. I could not find one. That is why I'm saying, are we moving left, far left, to where now SOEs can just be issued? Because when we do that, we are unconstitutionally violating not only the rights of these young men,
The whole society.
but also of our citizens, Mr. Chairman, and I have to show it.
I want to see my son clean. A record clean, clean, clean. You know, got no murder, no criminal, or no bad record pan the thing. So I don't know why they want to come pick up my son and say that then got off a gang related. My son no you know no gang. My son supposed to be spending 48 hours and come out this evening. Only please, Mr. Chester, they talk to you. This go for you personal. You understand where they come from? Please, I beg you. Only let go my son from back there because if my son catch any infection and got any pain back there, I will sue the whole police force because we don't know who that the criminal out here. Not because we come from Gungulung. That means everybody that criminal at Gungulung. Everybody that know criminal at Gungulung. I am a poor mother. I retire from city council. I don't got no money to tend to my son the way how I want to tend to my son. So I beg you, please, only release my son from back there for me. Because the last day, Karen, yesterday, they hurry rush on Karen at hospital yesterday. Because I don't know if he may get one anxiety yesterday. When he got in that jail, when he may in the peace house lock up, they rush Karen at hospital yesterday. I wait for my son come out this evening 4 o'clock. Because of 48 hours he's supposed to spend. My son no in no gang. You understand where they come from?
An abuse of the
Mr.
process.
Chairman, back to you, sir.
Thank you. I pass it over to Leonard. Go ahead, Leonard.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity to participate. And thank you, Greg, for highlighting the particulars. It's not as if we haven't been down this road before, spoken about these issues before, and these knucklehead idiots that we have doing all governance and administration continue to go down the same road and behave in the same manner. They have learned nothing. They have improved nothing. And as my cousin says, they fail to acknowledge failure on their part. And as a matter of fact, I don't even think that they believe that they're failing, because they're darn well doing what they want to do and how they want to have it done. So they don't think that they're failing. When the idiots want to talk about Bukele policies and the way he runs for his country, Belize is not El Salvador. Nor do we have the same system of government, nor the same laws on the books. Nor Mr. Bukele is the president of Belize or the head of state of Belize. So how the hell are we going to get to where he is at and carry on the way he's carrying on to hopefully get the results that they're saying that he's getting? You know how many thousands upon top of thousands of people that he have in jail, locked down, under the same bogus claim, like what this lady they said they have Fishy-son locked down under the claim that he's a gang member? There are many thousands of mothers like her in El Salvador whose kids have nothing to do with the wider drug trade that the actual higher people them are collecting the money for. Because no drug could be passing through your country, whether legally or illegally, if you don't want it to happen. Unless the drug dealers then take over your country like what they have done with some other countries before. So they can't convince me, personally, I'm talking for myself right now, they cannot convince me that a bunch of them are not directly involved with this process, which is why they tolerate it and allow it to go as far as it's been going up to today's date. Some of them have already been arrested, as a matter of fact, and others ought to be arrested. I keep on repeating myself ad nauseum. I am waiting to see when Mr. Chester will start earning salary by arresting some of the people above his own pay grade, who are actually serious international criminals. Okay? But he can't go there. Why? You don't want to lose his job? He's not ready to walk away from his current job tomorrow or day after if they decide to fire him because he got too high up the chain. So he'll play cops and robbers in the society with other people's family members. Now when the crap comes to his door, he want to pretend that they're going to be so strict and so powerful. Use the laws and the books, perform your job the way it's required for you to perform it, and we wouldn't be dealing with this kind of craziness. Because people would have had the sense of what reality is, rather than for them to feel like they can haul and pull the system to the point where they can think that they're dealing with a cops and robbers movie. People get shot up, people get killed, people get hurt, and at the end of the day, the movie stops showing at one theater and goes show at another theater. And the show goes on. That is not reality. People are getting hurt. People are losing their jobs. The society is under stress and strain. How come you could have these knuckleheads running around, killing people or shooting people, and federals cannot be dispatched with? They have more rights than the rest of the civilians. Imagine. And the system aids and abets them to conduct themselves in that manner. I mean, look at the other idiots them who got at the hospital the other day and threatened the nurses and the doctors them and everybody else in there and broke up the damn place. And then grab the person and turn around and say they never know that they were supposed to charge them for bigger crimes than when they charge them for. Then charge them for just broke one glass. So now then they deal with the outcome. Those kind of people that they're dealing with that behave like that and that they're making excuses for because they don't want to look bad will turn around and use the same aid and abetment effort that the governance people, them, Mr. Chester, his boss, the Minister of Home Affairs, and all his senior personnel. They are right there standing up behind him just now on the thing where Greg showed, and the one that I saw on the news. The second assistant commissioner was there, and the top guys then from the gang suppression units, they were there. So they could haul out all the people who they want to haul out and put them there to show that they're supporting each other. Get the damn job done. We employ you as a police department to do the police department work on behalf of the rest of the society. We don't employ you to go broke up people's house, run in at people's place, suppress people and I got nothing to do with what's going on. Just itself just acknowledge they have agents that are doing the investigation or the people in from CIB. The last time we spoke about these matters, I asked the question, do we not have a CIB anymore? It was a redundant question because I know for a fact that we do. The bottom line is that they don't have to be telling us that they have these organizations. Use them for what they are there for. They are all getting paid. You cannot be having idiots come and terrorize the whole society and you pretend that there's not much you can do. I have a lot more to say, Mr. Chairman. I don't want
yes,
to
thank you, Leonard. Thank you, Greg, for
Mr. Chairman, if I may piggyback on what my cousin said,
Go ahead.
As the Commissioner of Police, and you would feel that offended that they came at your house and did what they did, then how can't you put yourself in the citizen's position that have been abused by your police department
for so long.
with the pointing of guns in their faces over and over again every time there is a state of
A bogus,
emergency.
a bogus
Mr. Chairman,
state of emergency.
And after the state of emergency went into effect this morning, police swept gang-affiliated neighborhoods for gang members. And that's what led the cops to this home on Castle Street with a mission. But the residents described the encounter with police as violent, threatening, and disrespectful.
I made a sleep, right? And my daughter wake me up and say, Ma, they say police, they're outside. So then afterwards, I get up, and try holler on something and thing like that. So then I walk towards the door with the key. And then afterwards, I hear and they run upstairs at my sister's house. And one time they run up upstairs, I hear, police, open the effing door, right? And things, so I know pay no mind. I say, as long as they know the condom says, I don't open up no door. All right, well, by the time I reach down there, so by my door, I did try open up my door and I can't, get it open up my door fast enough. So one of them start bang down my door and say, open up, police, right? It say, at the Conquer 5, it say, arrest and shoot, right? And then so, miss, I did the trim boat. I not even hear, all the way here the 1 and 4. I not hear 2 and 3. Then so I jump from front of the door because I see him with the big gun crank. All right then, by the time now, that because my gentleman gonna open up the door, they shove him down on the ground, right? And then they start like barging. When they barging, my 12-year-old daughter, she did that side by the kitchen, and then afterwards she moved, so the police holla keep one FM place that me play my music and me want dance to it, right? So I said, sir, that my baby, I said, she only 12, I don't give a miss. Just like that, he said.
And if their tone and language wasn't enough to scare this mother, her nightmare worsened when the police went as far as to allegedly pull out and point his loaded firearm in the direction of her 1-year-old granddaughter.
So my gentleman, when they pushed down the front of the door, he still remained there. So when they're in the past, he jammed the big gun in my gentleman back. The mark still there upon white shirt, and he say, "You there in a gang? What you name?" He tell her a name and thing. I say, he not there in a no gang. He don't want barber and thing like that. So just like that, I tell police, and then afterwards they walk out. They always the call, but no time, behaving like this. I always say this kind of behavior, that next people's house, I watch it on live and thing, and first time experience it, miss, and even me know if it pee, stool, vomit, miss, I tremble. I tired of the police. I tired. Miss, the man say anything moving at my house.
Mr. Chairman, you hear it for yourself. Back to you, sir.
Thank you, Greg. Leonard and Gregory, and our listeners, viewers, this kind of behavior is not the first time, no. This kind of behavior has been going on for some time, right? And sadly, I call on the opposition leader, man. This kind of behavior is uncalled for. You are the paid opposition. These are things that warrant march, a citizenry march. Why don't you organize, man? And send a message, man, right? If you go put people in a red shirt when you have one election or one function, man, do the same thing, because this is vital, man. This is important, because I know the first time, like I always say, innocent people get caught up in this continuous, repetitious cycle. Innocent people. and you hear the Prime Minister from his own mouth, you know, you have any console from the words he speak? And if we go back and play the words he speak on all the others SOEs that pass, do you have any comfort? Does he ever one day comfort the grieving parents, right? And the people who have been killed innocently, young children, mothers, you know, that left grieving for their young ones, and for them people who are involved in a gang, none at all, get swiped up, right? And the best this man could come up with, he said, you know, send we went carry and cool off for 30 days because they need to go cool off the lead black boy there. And why doesn't the Prime Minister and all his minions, his bright minds, put a state of emergency over the entire country? Because Mr. Prime Minister and the police commissioner, man, you don't think that when you the clamp down from Belize City and Cotton Tree, just for instance, now Cotton Tree and Roaring Creek, where you think them criminals going, man? You think they stay there and facilitate, you know? No, man. They come here to Cayo, then go in a PG, then go in the Prime Minister backyard, then go in the Corozal, the next area representative, then backyard, and then get cool off. Because they know this is just one continuous cycle, right? So when it's cool off, then criminals, it come from the very same out, you know them. You know them. Then are the same criminals when come back and right back in a society, right? And then again, when they leave havoc start again, you will pass an next state of emergency. Man.
They don't know them. They use them for electioneering purposes. Therefore,
exactly.
when time for them haul them but in a jail or do what they have to do with them, they excuse them the situation. And that is part of the problem that we have in the society. They hear and abet the criminal behavior, then they turn around and want to blame people who don't have nothing to do with it to justify their failures.
I have always said, right, since I came back home and, you know, I watched the whole scenario. I know that we have a PUP gang and a UDP gang, right? And I know I'm going in detail where the PUP gang they do when they do, and I know I'm going in detail where the UDP gang they do when they do, and you know, there are continuous cycle. But then my thing is, right, is that innocent people, right? You hear the grieving mother, right? You hear again, Greg, we have played numerous tapes to see the abuse of innocent people when they pass these SOEs. The abuse, and they just don't give a damn. They do these things, and after this, right back in a society, the policeman, they look on the same people where they did wrong and they will laugh you on their face like it's everything okay. Be careful now. Be careful now. That's all I'm saying, right? Because when you hurt an innocent person, and then God, you know, is watching, you know. God is watching. And when bad things happen, you wonder why. Take you a long time for you to recollect that you may chance somebody. What you think will happen, man? What you think will happen to you? And then when you find out that I'm a lie, you shouldn't have me do what you do. Right? Happen all the time. Man like myself, Greg and Leonard, you know, we know in a no gang or we know up to no criminality. We just call it out. But we will be affected when we travel on a Ghana road, black and all things. No, next thing you know, no put pint gun in my and subject me to all kind of things that you're not supposed to do to me. Then when I react and say something, that right there I get arrested. Right? Right there get arrested. Right? Man, no need to stop these kind of stupidness now.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Go ahead, Greg.
Mr. Chairman, my question is, When has Belize became so bad that we are now at a point as though we are a republic where SOE can be issued without them even going to the House for a statutory instrument? Because as I speak, I mentioned I went to the government website and I looked for it. There is no statutory instrument to back this state of emergency. With that said, if that is the truth, then every one of these individuals that the government and the police have locked up and is sticking up is being held unconstitutionally in violation of human rights under the Geneva Convention. You must have a statutory instrument to back a SOE. Section 18, 1 and 2 of the Constitution is clear how a state of emergency goes into effect. And my good cousins have read on this on more than one occasion, Mr. Chairman. Back to you, sir.
So sad, so sad. Thank you, Greg. So sad to see, what's happening in our country, man. Right? And I urge our people, it play out right in front of our eyes, Uno no know what better for no. Uno no know the right thing what to do. Let's do it, man. Otherwise, this will be a repetitious cycle and nothing will change. You hear Brisenio, the Prime Minister of this country, Johnny Brisenio, and you hear the Commission. They mention this man, the President Bukele, right? Well, okay, if this man they pound of mine and no like one another, man, do the things that this man they do, and maybe it works in this country. And as for Greg, you says that
Mr. Chairman, they can't do that in this country, sir. That's what I keep saying.
No, not tell me they could do it.
They can't.
They could do it because they were prostitute the constitution.
Right? They need to go live there
right?
with Bukele and live
They
under
don't
Bukele's
care.
constitution.
Greg, you mentioned that you search a government website. This are not yet, This man, when the price of gas raised yesterday and the accent, he said he don't have to inform the public about this thing, You find out when you go to the pump. Does that telling you something, Greg? Right? So I'm just showing you the mindset of these people, right?
Junior Mr. Bukele.
Yes. Right? The mindset of these people. Right? If you don't know all these gangbangers, man, and you don't know the players, man, why you don't run me up like how Bukele do? Huh? Mr. Prime Minister? Why you don't do that? Because then you don't have to inform us, we find out when it happened. You don't have to inform us. Like you said, but the price I get come from your own mouth. Your own mouth.
Bunch of rascals.
Right? So why don't you do that, man? And stop the subject, the other citizens to this kind of unlawfulness. Right? Because it's not lawful what only they do to innocent people. I just draw a scenario that what I wouldn't like if I encounter another Rolling Creek or Cotton Tree or Belize City, I want to harass me like that, right? And I said something, I know no arrest me. Right away, what would he wear? Make with. Maybe one of might slip and pull the trigger because so trigger happy too, right? But all I'm saying is that innocent people get caught up in that kind of crap.
They don't want to go down the road, Mr. Weird.
You don't want to do it? Do it right, man. There's the right way and a wrong way. The laws are there. Man, why don't they do this to women? People tired of this now. Because I know better could be done. I know that. Back to you, Leonard.
Uh, they're not just the Prime Minister talk about Mr. Bukele, you know,
That's what I'm saying.
or the Commissioner. Almost everybody in the present government have some kind of a affinity for Mr. Bukele. They don't respect for we constitution, and they hope that they could actually operate in such a way as Mr. Bukele does, which is why I said just now, with Prime Minister, they talk and behave like one young Mr. Bukele or one junior Bukele. He don't know for him, but and all the rest of them, where they transgress the constitution. They don't have to end up the court, you know. Just haul them but the bridge foot and put the rope around their neck. There are different ways to solve the problem.
But the UDP no one do that.
UDP, PUP, NP at all. They're one and the same as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Because
they all
both
need
operate with the
to
same
be
level
held.
of
Who will do
to the
it?
people.
My question is, who will be man enough?
Somebody should do it.
Right? Who will be man enough to do it to hold these people?
Before.
Right?
You know what, Mr. Brackett? Mr. Brackett, I am wondering if, because we have taken their last statutory instrument apart to prove how unconstitutional it was, is that maybe why they haven't posted one?
Exactly.
It's possible.
No, you're on target.
It's possible.
No, you're on target.
Yeah. It's possible.
These guys have no respect or regards for our current constitution, which is why they want to change it. They have no respect. They don't follow it. They don't do nothing that is required of them. And then no, they want us to drop tears when they're at the point of the gun. The hell with it. Let them enjoy some of what the people they have to suffer with and deal with right now.
But my good
because
cousin,
this is not the end of this process.
if they move away,
I told them what was coming down the pike, and they dismiss it and pretend that they don't have any reason or justifiable reason to operate as legitimate lawmen, that they could just operate as illegitimate and mobsters when they want. So now they're dealing with the consequence of behaving as rogue. People are taking the law into their hands, and that's the outcome. There's only so much a human being can take before they either go and commit suicide or commit a crime against somebody else. Then everybody want to get desperate to the point of go commit suicide themselves. They turn around and deal with the people where they put them in a situation. And that is why you end up with revolutions in a country.
But my good cousin, isn't it safe to say, based on my belief, if you are not doing any more aside to back a state of emergency, that you are telling the people of this country that that's the beginning of republic? Because then you are citing Buckley
but when
and
Belize
what he's doing.
Greg, I want to talk over you just for a second. When Belize becomes the Republic of Belize, do you know what kind of hell anybody want to find themselves in? Or do they really understand what is it that they're asking for?
I don't think so. I don't think they understand.
Yeah.
I don't think they understand.
But they could carry on the same way they couldn't carry on right now.
But what I'm saying,
they're crazy.
You and I know that.
They're crazy or they're stupid.
In fact, let me go beyond that, because there's a state of emergency.
Are crazy and stupid.
Where is the order signed by the DG to back that state of emergency? I need them to tell us or show us.
What do you think is the purpose why they're going to shut up the commissioner's home? And they knew that he wasn't home, okay? But why do you think whoever went and did that? Is it not likely that the same people were going to mess around with the hospital with the same level of veracity and carelessness, don't give a damn attitude, that they could do what? And as a matter of fact, I'll tell them something else maybe where they're not conscious of. That same 45 revolver when I said fine, that's a Guatemalan military staple. I don't think they know that, or they want to know that, or to realize that that's where that particular weapon came from. Okay?
So sad
but I
to
could tell you a
see.
lot what I'm supposed to know, what I don't know, and what I probably don't want to get to know, because that can put the burden on their shoulder to be able to deal with other issues that are international issues.
Guys, thank you, Leonard, for beat this again, this other SOE in depth, and beat this crime situation in depth again for our Belizean people at home and abroad to see what's happening, right? Greg, I would like you to
So, Chairman,
touch
before we change the topic, the SOE that they just put in place, first of all, it's not being put in place justifiably because there's no catastrophic activities taking place within the boundary of we country or within the boundary of those areas where they put the SOE. There's no catastrophic issues happening. So they do not justify putting an SOE in place. So, and even if the SOE was justifiable and they had done it legitimately, which they have not, it should come with the conditions and the procedures that need to be violated before you're subjected to the mandates of the SOE.
Thank you.
And because they have not done that, and they're just trying to use it as a blunt weapon, and it's not being effective, they're ending up with more problems. The commissioner himself acknowledged in this last statement that we just heard him made that he cannot go ahead and do things the way he would want to do it because that would amount to illegality. What he would want to do is to grab a couple of these guys and dispatch them. For lack of another way.
Sad, man, yeah. So sad, I just hope that.
But as the commissioner,
the
he
people
can't appear on the surface to be doing anything of that nature because he is under the same laws that everybody else is under.
Just hope that people are waking up, Just hope that people are waking up.
Mr. Chairman, there is a government website.
Make any bullet me hit for his child or for his family, other family members then. And tell me that he may come up there and stand up there and talk to the public and make excuses why they are not doing the proper police work and investigation and haul these idiots into custody. There was a time when people were disappearing in Belize. We know that. I'm not talking about something that is an alien concept or something will never happen. People were disappearing in Belize. And as a matter of fact, right now, some of them still are disappearing. But for different reasons.
Yeah. Just hope the people, waking up, man, and getting up for this
Wake up.
This stuff that's going on. Greg, would you like to? Yeah.
That is the government website. Anybody can go there, as I said, and they could see define the statutory instrument.
Yes.
Because I have looked, and it should have been gazetted and posted.
Exactly.
Greg,
would you like to bring up that meeting with the diaspora, please?
So when I think back to the private members bill, I could feel a united front moving forward, an actual deliberate move by diaspora Belizeans coming together and saying, this is our time, this is an important existential threat, we want to have a say. And I felt that momentum picked up a lot of steam, both in Belize and here in the diaspora. And I don't know if it is because the bill did not succeed why we felt that we could not continue that push. But I do feel as though there has been a withdrawal, as Brother Newry put it, of feeling sidelined, and it's totally justified in having that feeling. And when you ask me why would politicians on a whole not want to have the diaspora have a say. And again, I'm speaking in general, PUP, UDP, PNP, what have you. It perhaps has...
Mr. Chairman, I will cut that right there.
Please.
And I will go back to you. I will
Thank you.
answer that when my turn comes.
Guys, you know, I asked you to play that because, you know, I want the nation and the world to see the hypocrisy, right? The hypocrisy. And you say, and I will quickly, he talking like the whole diaspora is there, you know, and the whole diaspora is on board with that, which lie, okay? He mentioned, but who does Brother Nuri brings? Who does he represent? I would like to know. And who does Miss Area, what Miss Area Lightfoot or Area Lightfoot? And who does she was marketing land the other day. She was a big critic after the election and all the thing and talk about it. And lately she was advertising land, right? She's in the real estate business. Where she get it from? I don't know. Maybe she inherited from a family member. Or maybe from the ministry. Then give her so much amount of acreage. But you hear the key people where that man mentioned. Not to speak for the diaspora, okay? Because you're the lie. And you know, answer the question at hand. We want the diaspora to participate in the electoral process in terms of putting your name on the line to contest an election. We don't know the shenanigans that you do when you want to voters, when you want to people in the diaspora to come vote. You pay them two-way ticket for come vote for PUP and UDP. Two-way ticket. Not for no money, you know. Not the PUP money, not the UDP money. Okay? Now, my point is, what will it is the diaspora going to continue the listening to the filth that comes out of these people's mouth every time they go there and they offer the little cheap little offer and things, land that you are entitled to as a Belizean. But Belizean, you're entitled. But no, then take that little package and then go like then they do you a favor, right? May I for no land. And somehow, no, because one of the big PUP supporter embrace these crooks. And somehow, no, because when the UDP did it, you know, the UDP supporter, I talk the older ones, right? And even the younger ones, because the younger diaspora needs it to be bought out because they don't know. They don't know better, right? Wake up and stop to encourage these crooks when they go over there, right? Stop it. We need a change. We don't need this continuity, the support criminality, okay? We need to stop it. We got people in Belize that are suffering in the hands of the UDP government and in the PUP government. All I know over there have some kind of ties here, right? And the people is suffer in this country, okay? I'm going to stop it. Back to you, Leonard.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I want to go back to Mr. Musa's observation. He stated based on his observations and his understanding, but really, they follow through with the assignment. His observations are that there was a time when the Belizean diaspora was interested in having the government honor the Constitution and our constitutional civil rights, inalienable rights. And he, Mr. Musa, at the time was the person consulted to carry a bill through the House while he was up in the opposition. And the UDP under Mr. Barrow refused to support it, and therefore the bill did not go through. That's what he was talking about. He failed to tell the people that thereafter the people, they promised the people that if they were elected as the government, they will make sure that they put it through, since the existing government at the time back then did not want to put it through. And the people swallow line, hook, and sinker, and gave them the privilege to become the government of the country. They said they were going to do certain things within 100 days. They normally go to the House and then pass bills in a 1 day, you know. Three readings, which is illegal, by the way. But that's the way they practice the procedures, protocols of lawmaking and bill creation. Nobody asked them to go to the House in a 1 day and do it, because they could have do it since he had already drafted the legislation and had it there on available. All you have to do now is just, when the House is supposed to have one sitting, introduce the bill, read it 3 times, or just read it 1 time, and then go back and read it another time and another time at different intervals that meets the constitutional requirements. And at the last reading, after the last reading, send it to the Governor General for ascension, because they don't have to have a plebiscite on that, you know. That particular amendment does not require a plebiscite. Because, like I keep on saying, it was a bastardization of the Constitution that had no true validity to it, that they're hiding behind to say that because that is written in there, it is constitutional and it's part of our Constitution, which is a bunch of hooey. In other words, they pull a fast one on the people, and as of today, yet that we're having this discussion, most of the people in Belize believe that unless Amendment 7 is put into place, the constitutional rights of born Belizeans in the diaspora cannot be honored, when in fact there was no powers authorized to the government to dishonor those rights. And there's no law that was authorized constitutionally to derogate those rights. So as of today's date, Belizeans abroad still have those rights, but they're not being facilitated to exercise those rights. While at the same time, Mr. Musa, like I said, had been elected as part of the current government for 3.5 years, going on 4 years now, and still cannot bring that same legislation that he brought under the UDP into the House for him and his colleagues to pass into law. Now, mind you, I'm telling you, they don't need to do that. All they need to do is honor the Constitution as currently written. Because the current Constitution says that they have no power to derogate any Section 3 through 19 issues in the Constitution. Those powers are largely left as the purview of the citizenry, and in some instances, this specific individuals whom they affect, except with the acquiescence of those individuals. The government have no power or authority to be able to say to Belizeans, well, I could say it because they have been saying it, but stop Belizeans from being able to vote.
2 more minutes there, Leonard. About.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is that they don't need to pretend that they're doing us any favor by taking the matter to the House under the 7th Amendment to try and clean up the dirtiness or the dirty deed that they attempted to do, because the dirty deed was not constitutionally effective, or not effective, affected In other words, it did not occur constitutionally as a legitimate law-making process because there was no authority to have that done. So all they're doing right now is bamboozling their way and bamboozling the people.
Thank you.
And Belizeans out here are of the impression or opinion that they need them to pass that stuff.
Thank you,
They don't
Leonard.
need to pass that. Just honor the Constitution. That's all they need to do. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Chairman.
you. Thank you. Gregory, have 6 more minutes. You take 3 minutes there, Greg, for your...
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. But just to piggyback on what my good cousin was saying, I want the people living in the diaspora to know if any individual born in the Commonwealth, not even Belize, in the Commonwealth,
are entitled to vote,
can come to Belize, and if they are qualified, they can vote. How can your government unconstitutionally bars you from taking part in an election when your constitution gives you that right? As we speak, I want the people in the diaspora to know that no government ministers, past or present, has no right to go to the House and create or make any law pretending that it is in your best favor to take part in an election, because your constitution, which is the Belizean constitution, is the law of the land.
Supreme law
and
of the land.
It says any other law that
Inconsistent.
is inconsistent
Null and void.
with it is null and void. So, with that said, regardless of what they say and try to do, it is null and void because they cannot violate your inalienable right, which is enshrined in the Constitution by our forefathers who wrote it. And my good cousin knows exactly what I'm saying. With
Chairman,
that said,
Greg,
I pass it back to you.
Mr. Chairman, can I just make a quick sentence? I know.
Go ahead. Go ahead, yes. Go ahead. Go ahead, Leonard.
I just want to invite Belizeans at home and abroad, and in general, anybody in the general public out there who has an interest in this matter, to please accept my invitation for them to come and check out this coming Friday's show. As they know, Fridays we usually deal with constitutional, legal, and case matters. And this coming Friday, there's going to be a lot of hell, fire, and brimstone coming down. And we'll have the Constitution answer these questions instead of us just using our own words to be able to express to the Belizean people at home and abroad what the facts are. The Constitution speaks for itself. And on this coming Friday, for the Constitutional Night, we will allow the Constitution to be indulged in speaking to these matters.
Thank you.
I have a prepared matter that will deal substantively with these issues.
Thank you.
Anybody who will listen to that particular program or could get a copy of that program will be in a position to have any lawyer on the review of that particular information resolve their matters for them in court. And we shouldn't have to be put in a position where we have to go to court to have these matters dealt with, because we, the people, did not create this craziness. It's the legislator that attempt to bastardize our Constitution and browbeat us into believing that what they did was done correctly and is and is constitutional or have some legal merit. I'm saying now, as I have said before, and will continue to say, it has no merit, and it's unconstitutional, and it's null and void. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. And it's always a pleasure, to sit in your company, Leonard and Gregory. Thanks for,
It's my pleasure too, sir. Thank you very much for the
imparting, some of the things that we are seeing unfolding in front of our eyes, and speak about it, and give input on it, and state, our stance on the issues at hand. My people, thanks for, tuning into our 160th edition of Belizean Affairs. And I hope that, this program tonight has, shown you that we have the best interests of our Belizean people at heart. Right. So on that note, I want to say good night, and choose your uh, uh, representative in the next election wisely, because this next election will be a very crucial one, right? So we are living it already, and we are seeing.
Mr. Chairman, would you advise me to come home and come and run?
Oh yes,
No,
oh yes, oh yes, oh yes.
I'm being facetious,
Before I leave,
they won't tolerate me for too long. Then I try to get
no, they couldn't stand you in the house there, Leonard.
Deal with me.
Likewise, myself. They couldn't stand me because we'll go with the same forcefulness.
I'm just being facetious, sir.
But my diaspora, please, man, have these people in check when they come over there, right? When they come over there with all this niceness to, repetitious cycle, check them people, man. Then I want to get tired of that, right? I want to get tired of it. And we want to see some real change in this country. Political change.
Mr. Chairman, if they're really interested in being honorable to the Belizean, Belizean diaspora, what they should do is clear up the constitutional breaches so that they show that they have respect and regards to the Constitution, as well as respect and consideration for the Belizean abroad.
Thank you.
That's not too hard for them to do.
Unless
they do that, everything else, I measure them on that one point alone. If they can't do that, that means that everything else, that's sham game that they play.
I want to say good night to our viewers that was watch us tonight, and good night to you guys. It's always a pleasure. Right, thank you, Leonard. Thank you. Look forward for Friday night.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
Take it away.